welcome to another King Tut Productions video. My name is Cam, coming at you from Windy Negros. I have my noise canceling mic, so hopefully that should make it so it's not it's too hard to hear. So I want to talk about things that you may be doing that are blocking your blessing. If you are looking for whether a girl in the Philippines or a girl in America or Europe, wherever you're from, there are things that guys often do to block their blessing, and they don't even, well, sometimes they realize it, sometimes they often don't. So the first thing is, and foremost, is if you just overall have a negative opinion of women, like, oh, all women are gold diggers, all women are bad, all women, they want equality when it suits them, and just an overall negative opinion of women, that's going to be reflected in the way you talk to women, even if you don't think it does. People see things that we think that we're concealing, but most of the time people can see it. So if a girl or woman is starting to sense that you just overall have a negative opinion of women, that's going to turn off all but the most desperate girls. Because why should she put up with that? I mean, would you put up with a woman that just overall had a negative opinion of men? I wouldn't. I mean, if they're always all men are just horn dogs and pigs, like, see ya, go find someone else. So a decent woman that's not desperate is going to be the same way. All right. Another thing is asking for sex too soon. As a Christian, or as I should say, a spiritual person, I am not a fan of sex right away. But of course, it just depends on you and what you and your partner decide. But I will tell you right up front, especially if you're going to be online dating and you're talking to women in the Philippines, if you start getting sexual or hinting at sex or just something that you want to sexualize it, that's going to put in her mind that, okay, he's just like all the other guys that are just trying to take advantage of a desperate woman. And so they may not tell you that, but don't be surprised if it's really soon and then you start asking for sex or asking her about, sexual positions, just sexualizing it. Don't be surprised if she starts asking you for money in some way shortly after that, because then you set the tone of a relationship. Okay, he's just like the other ones and I'll just ask for money. So be really careful about that. Especially for a good conservative girl, I would not bring up sex within, especially, no, probably until you're pretty close to meeting her in person. Because you really want to show her, like when, for example, before I came in, my fiance and I, we talked for a year, and the subject of sex didn't come up until we met in person. And I just did that because I really wanted to go out of my way to show her that I wasn't like that. All those other guys that just asked her to flash and things like that. And she went out of her way to show me that she's not like the other Filipinas that are just asking for money. So it's really important that you keep that in mind when you're dating, especially online overseas, because we always talk about, let's evaluate them, make sure you're evaluating them properly. But a good girl that's not desperate, she's also going to be evaluating you. Because why should she want someone in her life that she's not sure? Because, she's talked to guys before and they're just making promises and they don't even have a passport. So a good girl is also going to want to evaluate you. So make sure that you're presenting yourself in a way that is appealing to her. And also, they know that sex is going to be a part of the relationship. If you show them that you're serious and you're meeting and then usually something should happen, they'll do it. This has never been a problem. Now, if you've done your part and she won't do it, then that's a bad sign. But most of those girls, if she tells you she's gonna wait until you put a ring on it, most of those girls will tell you up front about that. So if they're not, and then you met her and she's making excuses and just doesn't want to, then you should leave. And that's not so many things are black and white about that, but a girl that's not going to sexually satisfy you is probably not a girl that you're going to be happy with. Another thing that you need to keep in mind that you may be doing that is blocking your blessing is if you're talking to too many girls at the same time. Um, I get it. You know, you went from maybe a 0, 1, 10. You're very lucky if you even get a girl to talk to you at home. But now all of a sudden you've got 20 girls, pretty girls that are interested in you. It's very easy to get to the point. Oh yeah, come on. But if you're talking to too many girls at the same time, first of all, they're gonna know, but you're not gonna have enough energy really to give the right one the attention that she deserves. And people can tell if you're treating them as an option. So if she feels like you're not taking her seriously, she's not going to take you seriously. And so I don't recommend talking to more than maybe 2 or 3 girls at a time. And then as it progresses, as it goes forward, then you can narrow that list down. But if you're trying to talk to 20 girls, and you just come off as a player, and also it's a good way to get cocky because I got all these girls talking to me. I don't got to put up with you. Well, the only girls that are going to tolerate that are the girls that are desperate. And you don't want to be with a desperate girl because those are the girls that just want your money. And, when I hear these stories about people talking about what happened to them, like, oh, they got swindled, they got cheated, things like that. Just remember that most of the time when the relationship doesn't work out, that person, the natural inclination is to make yourself seem like the victim. So when I hear some of these stories, I try and listen to the whole story and piece together the parts they didn't tell me. And some of these stories is like, dude, if you didn't see it coming, I mean, come on. I mean, she has to have half a bottle of scotch before she's intimate with you. How could you not know? Just they were mean to her. They tried to treat her like a maid and just treat her like, oh, well, I could have all kind of other girls. I don't need to put up with that. Well, they'll put up with that until they get what they want from you. But you have to love her. And one thing that's complicated about dating someone in the Philippines is it's a non-confrontational culture, so they're not going to be upfront. Like in my case, I'll tell you, like with black women, they'll tell you straight up if there's a problem and they're not happy. With black women, they'll just tell you straight up if there's a problem and they're not happy with something. But Filipinas, they're not like that. So sometimes you kind of have to guess, and you can tell, and you just really need to be observant and look at their behavior. And if something is wrong, to try to figure it out. Now, most of the time, the biggest thing is if you're still talking to other girls, but just something else. I mean, you need to make sure that her needs are met and that she's satisfied, just like any other woman. Because that's when you get a loving relationship. If you just get a yes girl that does what you say, those are the girls that are going to leave you as soon as they can, as soon as they have another option. Or those are the girls, like, they'll marry you and then still have a boyfriend. Those are the girls that'll marry you but still have a boyfriend back in the Philippines. So, I mean, you gotta really keep that in mind and just be careful. She's a human being and she deserves to be treated as one. She's a human being with needs, wants, and desires, and you gotta do it. So that's how. I mean, that's a big thing that could be blocking your blessing. Okay, another big thing that guys do to block their blessing is making decisions for the wrong reasons. It can be very tempting when you have like a whole bunch of girls hitting on you just to choose the nicest body, that beautiful exotic look, and things like that. And the thing is, when you want a loving relationship, yeah, I mean, a pretty girl that, she'll do what you want. I mean, I'm not saying that all pretty girls are bad. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you're going to choose just on looks or primarily on looks, then you're likely to get a girl where all she has to offer is her looks. And what's going to happen is you guys are together longer and those looks start to fade. A woman's body, once she has a baby, it changes, even if she does exercise and things, because she's going to be tired. If you're going to choose someone just for superficial reasons, then that's a good way of blocking your blessing. And getting the right girl for you that'll stick with you through thick and thin. Maybe when something happens to your retirement check, she'll get a job to help make ends meet, versus the girl that as soon as something happens to your money, she's gone. So, I mean, most of us should know this, but I mean, a lot of us, we just kind of need to be reminded of that. And just make sure that our relationship is founded in God, and that we are the type of people that we're seeking someone who loves, we're seeking someone that, for the right reasons. I'm not saying that looks don't matter. I'll tell you straight up, I'm not interested in a 45-year-old heavy set female, and I know I would not be satisfied with a person like that. But the rule I like to give is 30% looks, 70% personality, not the other way around like a lot of guys like to do. So anyway, I hope that you found this video helpful. Please subscribe. Also, I want to know what you think. What are things that you see a lot of guys doing that block their blessing when it comes to dating in general or in the Philippines? Thank you very much. God bless.